Peace, what it is, all right. So, the gun topic is a big topic amongst us as a people, as United American citizens, etc. And right now, in the Moorish community, the online Moorish community, I would say, the YouTube Moorish community, I would say, we have two Moors who are got good followings. You know what I mean? And they kind of at odds. They doing videos about each other and shit. And we have this often, just because like Moors are black people, and we know how black people are. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas can't get along for shit. So it ain't gonna be no different just because we know our history. You know what I'm saying? If you look at our history, you'll see that niggas been arguing for years. You know what I'm saying? Decades, centuries, millenniums. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is expected, but it's not. I hate to see two brothers going at it like that, especially two people I don't learn from, me personally. But at the same time, it's good because it kind of flesh out the ideologies, and you see that at the end of the day, these are discussions that a nation has behind doors. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we going to approach, dealing with whatever situation? We wouldn't be doing that in front of our fucking enemies. So I say on that front, I think we all need to kind of calm down from that type of shit. And then, like I say, this is my channel. I say what the fuck I want to. I really don't care who got a problem with me. But I stay away from this type of shit because I understand everybody got their lane. Everybody got their mission, you know what I'm saying? And one person's ain't the same as the next. So, sometimes two people are going to be on their mission, and their mission might have some conflict. And I don't mean one is right and one is wrong. It just means that it's a lot of problems in the world that need to be fixed. So, I ain't gonna say no names. Some of y'all probably already know what I'm talking about. But one cat is his philosophy is like personally I've heard I don't know this for sure, but I've heard that Noble Drew Ali was quoted saying that Moors shouldn't even have a pocket knife. You know what I'm saying? So with that, so one Moor has that approach. Another Moor is saying, get your guns. It's our Second Amendment right. You know what I'm saying? So you see, I'm on the Constitution, so I'm gonna go through that. But I'm gonna go through some of this, the Second Amendment specifically. But so you can't say one is wrong, one is right. Now one feels like the one that is going. We're gonna say that the one with the guns is taking the left hand path, and the one with the I'm trying to speak in code or some shit. But it's okay, but you feel me? So the one taking the right hand path is accusing the one taking the left hand path of being some kind of an agent, because apparently dude was in the military or some shit. And I ain't gonna stunt, when I first got hip to dude, I kind of felt like they may be an agent. Even though I believe even Kenneland Moores was saying that at first. You know what I'm saying? Because the brother just kind of hit the scene kind of hard. You know what I mean? And for this type of information, people be shying away from it. So it take a while, like, to gain a following. And brother just kind of jumped on the scene, just kind of, you know what I mean? But what the brother was doing, I can understand why people would gravitate towards him, because he was, you know what I'm saying, standing up for his rights and things of that nature. So, you know what I'm saying? And he's showing the law, showing the case, and going to court and battling. I didn't went to court. I had to go by my motherfucking self. It's very difficult. If I would have had somebody with me, I probably would have had a better result. You see what I'm saying? But so I understand. I would never take away. I would never talk down on somebody doing that. Me personally, like when the brother first came out, I hit the other brother in the comments and was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand where you coming from, because that more Shamir Catholic shit was kind of but you know what I mean. If it's working, you're getting people out of jail, then you know what I mean. Then that's what's up. So me personally, I'm kind of torn between the two. I can understand both ideologies. You understand what I'm saying? I don't do the gun thing. I ain't never had to have a gun in my life. You know what I mean? I've been in situations where other people had guns if it had to go down like that. You know what I'm saying? But I've just been fortunate in my lifetime to kind of stay away from the dumb shit. But so that just never was my thing. I damn sure never went to no motherfucking military. Crazy motherfucker. But I don't knock brothers who do. You know what I'm saying? I had one of my best friends growing up. He went to the military, went to the Navy, did the shit, came out, went to school, and now he doing his thing. Can't knock that type of shit. So the one brother feeling like the guy may be an agent because he's saying this, have your guns, but he ain't necessarily done. She ain't shot nobody. You know what I mean? So I can understand that shit because the ideology, because it's just like a gun against a tank, bro. You gonna lose. All right, we can get a lot of guns, and let's just say hypothetically we lock down a town or a city or some shit as black people with our guns, and the police wasn't able to stop us, and we had to run the police out. And now we got this particular area secured for black folks. Well, they'll just drone us. They just send a drone over there and just start. Black fucking Wall Street. They didn't have drones in. They had to have a helicopter and throw dynamite out at them motherfuckers. You think they wouldn't just fly a few drones over now and just shoot the fuck? What we gonna do? Shoot the drones with our AKs? You see what I'm saying? So that's where the one brother coming from. He like, you talk this gun shit, but in actuality, what is the gun gonna get us? You know what I'm saying? Like, they got tanks and shit. What you gonna do? And and that's how I always felt. Like, I don't think getting guns and shit is necessarily our way out of this. But I don't knock it for somebody who feels that secures them. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a right to bear arms, right? Now, that's where this video is going. So as far as them two brothers go, I can understand where both coming from. Me personally, I think the legalities and the law is the best way to attack these people. Not because the law's on our side, because being we're right. You know what I mean? If we come right, we right. Being black people, we not right. Okay, it just is what that is. So as far as them two go, I hope they can just patch it up and we can just, move forward, and that's not a big argument. But for people on the outside looking in, don't let that shit deter you. Like, everybody in one nation don't always agree on the same thing. So I mean, to see that debate, don't let that make you say, "Oh, I ain't no more," because Moors are arguing just like everybody else. Well, you might as well say you're not no black person, because that's all. That's through any organization of ours. It just is what it is. So, peace to both brothers. I ain't no problem with nobody, but I understand both of y'all coming from. Now, the thing about it is, we claim that we have a right to bear arms, and that's not necessary. I mean, that's true because it's in the, it's in the Constitution. But bear arms don't mean a gun, straight like that. Okay? The right to bear arms doesn't mean you can have a 9 in your pocket and go to the grocery store or the corner store. It's not what that means in law, and I'm finna show you. So, first off, you just need to understand from the jump that it says a well-regulated militia, being this is the Second Amendment. This is the one everybody talk about, right to bear arms, right? Exercise your First Amendment right, free speech. If that don't work, you got your right to bear arms. That's what that's what they will say. That's what we say. What happened? Okay, bam. Necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. All right, that is a very precise statement. Okay, and I went through a few things, and I was gonna try to explain it all to you, but then I found this book right here, and it does a much better job than me. So I'm just gonna read from this book, and then I'm gonna show you what it's talking about. So it says city of what's this? Salina versus Boblaski. Interesting. In 1905, Kansas Supreme Court decision, the city of Salina versus Boblaski, whatever, is a foundation of the theory that the Second Amendment does not guarantee an individual right. As such, Salina is perhaps the most important state court decision involving the Second Amendment, although Salina was overruled by implication in a 1979 Kansas Supreme Court decision. And I'm going to explain that in a minute, because this book does. But anyway, I'm going to keep going for right now. Keep that in mind. In 1848, a concurring opinion by the Arkansas Supreme Court judge said that the Second Amendment right was merely an assertion of that general right of sovereignty belonging to independent nations to regulate their military force. State versus Buzzard, which I got that one right in me out. I'm gonna go there in a hot sec. This is the only known document. So you heard it said. Hold on, let me make sure you understand what they said. The Second Amendment was merely an assertion of the general right of sovereignty belonging to independent nations. Okay, so the Second Amendment right is not talking about people; it's talking about nations. Okay, to regulate their military force. You get it? Okay, so listen. This is the only known document from the 19th century asserting that the Second Amendment does not guarantee a right of individuals to possess firearms. The concurring opinion was not cited by any other 19th century courts. Even in Arkansas, subsequent case law in the 19th century regarded the Second Amendment as an individual right, fifth versus state. Okay. The town in Salina, Kansas, James Abbas was convicted of carrying a pistol while intoxicated. When he appealed his conviction, neither Blavatsky nor the prosecutor argued that the right to arms did not pertain to individuals, and the matter was therefore never briefed. The government attorney has simply argued that the local law was responsible gun control. Nevertheless, the Kansas Supreme Court chose to issue a decision announcing that the Second Amendment and the right to arms in Kansas state constitution did not belong to individual citizens. All right. So, Pete, let's go to state versus Bizard. Was a case in the first half of the 19th century involving the right of an individual to carry a concealed weapon. Okay. So this is like your guns, your handguns. The case came 2 decades after 1822 Kentucky case that struck down a state law that restricted concealed weapons. Although the weapon at issue there was a sword with the concealed in a cane, ultimately, given the facts in Bizard coupled with the language of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, the case has come to be recognized as one of the earliest examinations of the Second Amendment right to bear arms. The case was heard by these three people. The judge squashed the indictment, ruling the law against the concealed carrying of weapons was unconstitutional. The new state of Arkansas, having been admitted to the Union in 1836, appealed, and Arkansas Supreme Court by 2-1 vote overturned the trial's court ruling and upheld the law. Okay, that it was unconstitutional. It's basing its ruling on the well-regulated militia provision of the Second Amendment. The court rejected the challenge to the state's law prohibiting the carry of concealed weapons. It asserted that while Arkansas's constitution guaranteed that free white men of the state shall have the right to keep and bear arms for their common defense, the state still had every right to regulate how arms could be carried. Before coming to his final conclusion, Chief Justice Ringo undertook an extensive examination of the nature of the government itself, looking at the basic reason for its existence as well as the roles and responsibilities it was to fulfill. Concluding that government was intended, among other things, to protect and defend the community in aggregate, it determined that in order to fulfill the responsibility, it was sometimes necessary to regulate individual actions. Distinguishing between political and individual rights, the court looked at other rights and freedoms and noted that they too have been subjected to regulation in the best interests of the broader community. Okay. The court also noted that, so what they're saying is that provision is for the country or the state to have the guns so the state can defend itself against, insurrection or against a invasion. Okay, but that's not meaning for each person to be able to carry a gun, especially not a pistol specifically, and I'm gonna show you that in a minute. The court was also hold on, let me see if I need to read this. Hold on. Yeah, okay, my bad. The court also noted that the Second Amendment contained a provision relating to a well-regulated militia that made clear that the right was not unfeathered, or as the court wrote, the right possessed no immunity as exempts it from all legal regulation and control. Okay? So as I'm saying, that law in the Constitution does not prohibit the state that you're in to pass it's really a statute, but we'll just call it a law to prohibit you from carrying a weapon or having a weapon, having a gun. Okay, that's what it's saying. The best interest of the state as a whole, not for the people. All right, that's why they say that Constitution is a tricky document. So remember, it said in here, it said that 1979 decision was overruled, right? Let's see. Okay, so decades later, the Kansas Supreme Court moved away from Salina by declaring the local gun ordinance unconstitutional, right? By then, however, Salina's no-right theory had spread far beyond Kansas state. The next case to adopt a non-right theory was United States versus Adams, which stated that the Second Amendment refers to the militia, a protective force of government, to the collective body and not individuals. You see, that was the United States versus Adams. So they might have overturned it in Kansas, but then the United States ruled it, basically overturned it again, if you will, to not individual rights. Okay. The Salina non-rights position was widely adopted by federal district and appellate courts in the last 3 decades of the 20th century, although Salina case itself was not always acknowledged. So, you see earlier it said this other case right here, 5th and State, Fife versus State, right? So check it out. The right to bear arms, constitutional provision. The provision of Article 2 of the amendments to the Constitution guaranteeing the citizens the right to bear arms was not intended as a restraint on state legislation. Once again, the state that you're in can determine whether, you can legally have a gun or a firearm. The provision of Article 2, Section 5 of the Constitution of this state securing the citizen the right to keep and bear arms for the common defense relates to such arms as are used for purposes of war and does not prevent the legislator from prohibiting the wearing of such weapons as are not used in civilized warfare and will not contribute to the common defense. And this includes pistols. I'm going to show you specifically. The Act of February, which prohibits the carrying of any pistol whatsoever as a weapon, refers to such pistols as are usually carried in the pocket or the side of a size to be concealed about the person and used in private quarrels, and not to such as are within the provisions of the Constitution. Okay? So you cannot constitutionally carry a 9 or 4.5 in your pocket and walk down the street. Now, certain state laws or state statutes might allow you to do that. You understand what I'm saying? But you don't have a constitutional argument, especially when you claim to be a black person, because they're going to laugh your ass at the court because, you're a black person. This case right here, based on the ground indictment, and this is talking about a guy got charged because he shot somebody with a pistol. He wanted to call it a gun and not a pistol, because if he would have called it a gun, it would have fell up under what his position was, or at least his hope was. I'm thinking is that it would have fell up under the bear arms law, constitutional, provision or what have you. But they ruled it a pistol, and that isn't. The courts have held that pistol means short firearm. Okay, it's talking about that right there. So that was what this case is about. You can go look that up if you need, if you want to. But I want to show you in this dictionary, Black's Law. I always go to Black's Law, but I got another one, Bouvier's, I'm going to show you too. But to bear arms, to carry arms as weapons, and with reference to their military use, not to worry about the person as part of the dress. You see what I'm saying? You see, it refers to military use when it's talking about to bear arms. You see, to bear means to support, to sustain, to carry, or to produce something. Okay? So when it says to bear arms, it means you can create a gun, and you can carry that. See what I'm saying? But when you have, and this is something I learned from the brother Yusuf L, High Frequency Radio. when you have a gun, that gun has a barcode. It has a serial number because you paid for it with Federal Reserve notes. So, in you paying for it with Federal Reserve notes, at that point in time, you become a U.S. citizen in a sense because you're using U.S. property, the Federal Reserve currency, right, to trade. Okay, so when you do that and you buy a gun, and if you was to use that gun against a U.S. citizen, or especially someone within the police or government or some shit, not only will you be charged with whatever you do, but you'll be charged with treason because you're using a United States supplied weapon to harm the United States. You see what I'm saying? So then, like, the charges is like compounded to worse because it's treason on top of whatever the fuck else you may have done, even if it was self-defense. You see what I'm saying? So when they say arms, let me see, where was it? Let me see. Okay, so you see, arms, anything that a man wears for his defense or takes in his hand or uses ain't gonna cast a strike at another. It don't say gun. You see what I'm saying? So a weapon or a gun or firearms, all right? But the Constitution gives you a right to bear arms. You see what I'm saying? You see the wordplay is different. It's not the same. It's not necessarily the same thing. And that's why, specifically, the Constitution of the United States declares that a well-regulated militia is on there. This is Bouvier's law dictionary. See the same definition: any man that wears for his defense uses anger, cast, strike, and off. The Constitution, right, declares that a well-regulated militia be necessary to secure the free state right of people to keep to and bear arms shall not be infringed. In Kentucky, a statute to prevent a person from wearing concealed arms has been declared to be unconstitutional, while in Indiana, a similar statute has been held invalid and constitutional. You see, it's based on the state that you in. It's based on their laws. So when you be talking that, my Second Amendment right, it's not exactly true. You see what I'm saying? It's just not exactly true. So, and here, I think on this one, it tells you specifically, right? Keep buried. This is me. Only such arms is adopted to military purposes. That's not pistols and shit. See what I'm saying? Let me find that other one. Hold on. Yeah, it's right here. I know it's on right up here. Arms. I wish I could get this dictionary. I might try to buy this dictionary. Weapons of offense. The constitutional provision giving the right to keep and bear arms means such weapons as used for the purposes of war and does not include weapons not used in civilized warfare. Small pistols, for example. So when you saying you got your right to bear arms, not that 9, I'm thinking lawfully and legally like an AK or some shit because that's for war, because that's like a war weapon. But even still, you know what I'm saying, with the whole barcode thing, you still losing. In time of his defense, like he uses anger cast out. Let me see, the will regulate necessary strike. Not being infringed. Kentucky, see, it's saying the same thing as the other one. That is basically all about the state. So, you can look at all this stuff. You can look at all this some more up if you like. But essentially, at the end of the day, it's, the whole get guns thing and Second Amendment right and all that. It's not really correct. You have a right to defend the country. You understand what I'm saying? A constitutional right, and to defend yourself. So, of course, your pistol could be in your house if somebody's coming in your house, But if out and about, that law is more so concerned with the Commonwealth. You know what I'm saying? That's the public. So having a concealed weapon can be dangerous to the public, and it's illegal in some states. You see what I'm saying? So, that whole constitutional, my Second Amendment right thing, ain't exactly like, it ain't exactly like that. You know what I'm saying? It don't really work like that. So I hope, as far as them two brothers go, I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. Like I say, I hope bro ain't no agent. But you know, I don't know none of these people personally. If I don't know you personally, I don't trust you. So, you know, I would say do what you feel is right. Don't be walking around with no guns though. That ain't gonna really do you no good. We would do more damage to these people filing a bunch of paperwork than walking around with guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a knife to a gunfight, people. We got a gun, but they got a tank. It just kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? Right now, we need to establish ourselves where we can afford tanks and shit. I mean, I would like to hope to think that we move to a future where that shit is abolished all across the board. No nation needs that type of shit to be fighting with each other. But humans, right? So we need to get to a point where we can build our own army and our own military, because right now, individually trying to get a whole bunch of fucking AKs and fucking AR-15s, it's like, if 30 motherfuckers come to your house shooting and you got 30 guns in that hole, it's still only you with 2 arms. So unless you building machines that automatically shoot the guns for you, it ain't gonna do you no goddamn good to have that many goddamn guns. Unless you training other people right, you know what I'm saying, that's right there around you, right there with you, and you giving them the guns or something. So I mean, whatever, man. You know, don't let people's different ideologies take you away from the truth. At the end of the day, we still Moors and we still got a problem to deal with. We need to have our own government apart from these people. And we're not gonna get it arguing about whether whether a motherfucker need a gun or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just tell people what you think. You know, personally, I don't think the motherfuckers need to just be rushing to get no guns. But a nation needs an army. So I understand it. You know what I mean? But understand what I just told you about bearing arms and shit. And this United States corporation, what we living in, it ain't lawful to just carry around a pistol like that unless you got it registered with the state and all that shit like that. All that Second Amendment shit, that's for if you are to make your own guns. The word bear means to create something. You know, like a mother bearing child, right? She's the creator of the child, right? So to bear arms means you have a right to create your own firearms, right? But going to buy a gun is not creating your own firearm. I hope I made that point. So peace and love, man. Y'all take it easy.